This basement is the safest room in the house. Now change one thing. Make the alert on your phone a flash flood warning instead of a tornado warning. Same stairs, same walls, opposite direction. For a tornado, the National Weather Service tells you to get low. For a flash flood, it tells you to move immediately to higher ground. The room did not change. The hazard did. That sounds obvious when the two warnings are side by side. In a real storm, they rarely arrive that neatly. Thunder is shaking the windows. The lights blink. Rain is hitting the roof. Your mind reaches for the emergency rule it remembers best. And for millions of American homes, that rule is simple. Go to the basement. It is a good rule for the danger it was built to solve. During a tornado, the threat is violent wind, broken glass, flying debris, and parts of the structure failing above you. Distance from windows matters. Interior walls matter. Getting below ground can matter. That is why a small interior area of a basement is often the right destination. Floodwater solves a different problem in the cruelest possible way. Gravity does not care which room your family calls safe. Water seeks the lowest level. A basement window well, an exterior stairwell, a floor drain, a wall under pressure, or water rising through saturated soil can turn the lowest room into the first room you lose. So the question is not, what is the safest room in my house? The useful question is, what is the safest move for this hazard? Once you make that change, a home emergency plan stops being a list of supplies and becomes a set of routes. There are two flood words you need to separate before the rain starts: watch and warning. A flood watch means conditions are favorable. Flooding is possible. Be prepared. A flood warning means flooding is imminent or already happening. Take action. A flash flood warning is even more direct. If you are in a flood-prone area, move immediately to high ground. Think of a watch as your working window. This is when you charge the phone, check local updates, put shoes by the door, confirm where everyone will go, and move the things that cannot survive water or delay. Not the television, not the box of holiday decorations. Medication, identification, insurance papers, medical records, hearing aid batteries, a flashlight, the leash and carrier your animal will actually use, the mobility aid that cannot be left behind. Place those items in a waterproof container you can carry without using both hands. Then put it where your exit route begins, not where floodwater is most likely to arrive first. If the kit lives on a basement shelf because that shelf is tidy, the kit may be organized and still be unavailable. Use the same window to prepare water. CDC flood guidance calls for at least 1 gallon per person and per animal per day, with a minimum 3-day supply. That is not permission to wait in a house officials have told you to leave. It is protection against a water system that becomes unavailable or unsafe before, during, or after the event. There are also changes that belong months before the alert, not minutes before the water. A sump pump with backup power can help manage seepage when it is installed and maintained for the home. A licensed electrician can raise outlets, switches, breakers, and wiring above the projected flood elevation. Backflow valves can help keep sewage from returning through drains. Those are mitigation projects, not storm night improvisations. Do not stand in rain with tools trying to install the protection you meant to build in spring. And check where fuel tanks, paint, cleaners, and workshop chemicals are stored. A floating tank or a loose container is no longer just property. It can become contamination or a heavy object moving through a confined space. The goal is not to make a basement waterproof by confidence. It is to reduce what the first water can reach and preserve a safe way for people to leave. A warning is not the time to improve that box. It is the time to follow local instructions. If authorities order an evacuation, leave. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is blunt about this. Never ignore an evacuation order. Take essential items, use the designated route, and do not improvise a shortcut through a flooded street. This is where the second remembered rule causes trouble. People see water across a road and think the vehicle gives them weight, height, and protection. But 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock an adult off their feet. 12 inches can carry away most cars. 18 inches can carry larger vehicles. And the water can hide a road that is no longer there. Pause on that image. The surface may look almost level. Under it may be a washed-out shoulder, a sharp object, a live wire, sewage, fuel, or moving water pressing sideways against your legs. Clear-looking water is not inspected water. Familiar pavement is not guaranteed pavement. If the root is covered, it is no longer the root. Now come back inside the house. When does the basement stop being an option? Do not wait for water to reach your knees. If water covers an outlet, if cords are submerged, if you see sparks, or if you hear buzzing, crackling, snapping, or popping, stay out. The National Weather Service says not to enter that room. The CDC says never turn power on or off while you are standing in water. That last sentence matters because the breaker panel is often in the basement. A plan that says turn off the main power but requires you to walk through standing water to reach it is not a plan. It is a trap written as a chore. If the power can be shut off from a dry, safe location and local guidance tells you to do it, that is different. If reaching the switch means entering water, call the utility or an electrician and stay out. The first threshold, then, is not a painted line on the wall. It is loss of safe access. Once water, electricity, or structural damage takes away the stairs, you do not negotiate with the room. You change routes. This is why I want every household to draw a vertical map. Take a simple outline of the home and mark 3 things. First, the lowest space that water is likely to reach. Second, the highest level you can reach without an elevator or a difficult climb. Third, the exit from that high level if the normal doors become unusable. That third mark is the one people forget. Go upstairs is a direction, not a complete escape plan. If someone in the home uses a walker, needs oxygen, cannot manage stairs quickly, or depends on refrigerated medicine, their route must be built around reality. A plan designed for the fastest person in the family is not a family plan. Call the relative who would help. Decide who carries the medicine and who handles the animal. Write down the phone numbers for the doctor, pharmacy, utility, local emergency management office, and one contact outside the area. Put the list in the waterproof container. During a regional emergency, your memory and your phone battery are both resources. Do not assume either one will be perfect. This is also the point where preparedness stops being a pile of gear and becomes a system. A flood can hit power, water, communication, mobility, medication, documents, and shelter in the same hour. If you have never looked at your home that way, I built the Survival Systems Preparedness Bundle to help you do it before a warning is on the screen. It uses 8 practical systems to show you where your weakest link is, then gives you checklists and field cards you can actually use with your family. The QR code is on the screen now. It opens martinkellen.shop, and I will leave the link in the description and in the first comment as well. It is not a substitute for local instructions, and it does not predict which emergency you will face. It helps you organize the decisions that are easiest to postpone on a quiet day and hardest to make in moving water. Now, there is one more room we need to talk about because higher can still be incomplete. If rising water traps you inside a building, official flood guidance says to move to the highest possible level and call 911 if you can. But it also warns against climbing into a closed attic. That space may be higher, yet it can leave you sealed under the roof while the water keeps rising. Picture the difference between height and escape. An upstairs bedroom with a window may give rescuers a visible location. A closed attic with one folding stair and no exterior opening may give you height but take away your exit. The safest high point is not just the top of the house. It is the highest place you can reach that preserves a way to signal, and if necessary, get onto the roof. Only go onto the roof when necessary, and signal for help once you are there. Do not treat that as permission to wait out an evacuation order at home. It is emergency guidance for someone already trapped. The earlier decision still wins. Leave when authorities tell you to leave, before normal routes disappear. The distinction is small in language and enormous in consequence. Evacuation is a planned movement while roads and doors are usable. Escape is what remains after those options begin to close. Preparedness should buy you more time in the first category, so you do not have to improvise in the second. There is a simple way to test whether your plan does that. Start at the bedroom at 2 in the morning. Assume the power is out. Put on the shoes you would actually wear. Pick up the waterproof container with one hand. Use the other hand for the rail, a flashlight, a pet carrier, or the person who needs help. Walk the route without rushing. If a door sticks, fix it now. If the flashlight is in the basement, move it. If the pet hides when the carrier appears, practice before the storm. If the person with limited mobility cannot use the route, contact local emergency management before the season, explain the need, and build a transportation plan. A plan that works only when everyone is calm, awake, mobile, and standing by the front door is a drawing, not a route. Then test the decision point. What alert causes you to move supplies upward? What instruction causes you to leave? Which local road floods first? Where is higher ground from your exact address? Which neighbor may need a ride? Those answers are local. A national video cannot choose them for you, and anyone who pretends otherwise is selling confidence without geography. What this video can give you is a decision structure. Watch means prepare. Warning means act. Evacuation order means leave. Water across the route means turn around. Water or electrical danger in the basement means stay out. Trapped inside means move to the highest usable level, preserve an exit, call for help, and avoid a closed attic. After the water goes down, the basement does not instantly become safe again. Do not re-enter because the floor looks visible. Wet electrical equipment, unstable materials, contamination, gas, and mold can remain after the dramatic part is over. If the house was closed for several days, the CDC says to assume mold is present. If water entered the home, drying should begin as soon as it can be done safely, ideally within 24 to 48 hours. That does not mean carrying an electric shop vacuum into water and hoping rubber boots solve the problem. Electrical systems and equipment need to be dry and safe. If there is any doubt, use a qualified electrician. Gasoline-powered pumps and generators never belong in a house, basement, garage, carport, porch, or near an opening. The CDC specifies at least 20 feet from doors, windows, and vents. Medication touched by floodwater is another quiet loss. Pills, liquids, inhalers, injections, and skin medicines can be contaminated even when the package still resembles what was on the shelf. That is one more reason the medication belongs in the portable container before the water arrives, not in a rescue trip after it does. And this brings us back to the basement at the beginning. The room was never foolish. The rule was never useless. The mistake was asking one rule to solve two opposite hazards. For violent wind, protection may mean down, inside, away from glass, under sturdy cover. For floodwater, protection may mean out early or up, away from the lowest level, with a route that does not cross moving water. Mature preparedness is not memorizing more slogans. It is matching the movement to the mechanism. Tonight, stand at the top of your basement stairs and ask one question. If water took this route away, what would we do next? Then answer it for the slowest person in the house, the animal that will not come when called, the medicine that cannot get wet, and the phone that may not have a signal. Write 2 words on your plan: wind with an arrow down, water with an arrow up and out. That small distinction can keep a good safety rule from becoming the wrong move at the worst possible time.